Imagine you are sleeping in your home. It is just after midnight on December 3rd, 1984. You live in Bhopal, India, a city of nearly 1 million people. Your family is asleep around you. Outside, the night is quiet. And then, without warning, without alarm, poison gas begins seeping into your home, through the windows, under the doors, through every crack in the walls. The gas rolls across the ground like fog. It creeps into your lungs as you sleep. You wake up choking. Your eyes burn, your throat closes, your lungs fill with fluid, and within minutes, you are dead. This is not hypothetical. This happened. December 3rd, 1984, Bhopal, India. A storage tank at the Union Carbide pesticide plant failed, releasing 40 tons of methyl isocyanate into the air. 15,000 people died, most in their sleep. 500,000 were injured. It is the worst industrial chemical disaster in human history. But here is what will make you furious. Union Carbide knew the plant was dangerous. They had cut costs for years, and when the gas escaped, they paid an average of $470 per victim. The executives who cut safety to save money, none went to jail. Welcome to If History Repeats. Today, we go back to December 3rd, 1984, to the night the gas escaped and the company that walked away free. Let's begin.
Bhopal, India, 1984. One of those factories is owned by Union Carbide India Limited, a subsidiary of the American chemical giant Union Carbide Corporation. The plant manufactures 7 pesticide, and to make it, they store methyl isocyanate, MIC, one of the most dangerous chemicals in industrial use. Highly reactive, highly toxic. Even small exposures cause severe respiratory damage, blindness, and death. Union Carbide stores it in massive tanks holding tens of thousands of liters under pressure. The plant is located in northern Bhopal, but over the years, as the city grew, slums and residential neighborhoods sprang up around the factory. By 1984, hundreds of thousands of people live within kilometers of the plant, some right next to the factory fence. Union Carbide knows this. They know if the gas escapes, tens of thousands will be exposed, and they do nothing, because moving people costs money. By the early 1980s, the plant is losing money. Union Carbide's response? Cut costs, drastically. They reduce staff from 12 operators per shift to 6. They turn off the refrigeration unit that keeps the MIC tanks cool and stable, because running it costs money. They allow maintenance to lapse. Corroded pipes go unrepaired. Faulty valves are not replaced. Safety alarms are disabled because they go off too often. The flare tower, designed to burn off leaked gas, is not operational. The water spray system is too weak to reach the leak height. Every layer of safety has been stripped away to save money. Union Carbide knows this is dangerous. Internal memos warn of the risks. Safety inspectors identify the problems and recommend fixes, but fixes cost money, so the warnings are ignored. The plant continues to operate, with tens of thousands of people living next door, with 40 tons of poison stored in poorly maintained tanks. A disaster waiting to happen, and everyone with power knows it, and they do nothing. December 2nd, 1984, night shift. A routine pipe washing operation goes wrong. Water gets into tank 610, one of the massive MIC storage tanks. Water and MIC react violently. The temperature inside rises, pressure builds, and because the refrigeration is off, there is nothing to cool it. Because the pressure valve is corroded, it cannot contain it. Because the flare tower is disabled, there is no way to burn it safely. Because the water spray is too weak, it cannot stop it. Every safety system has failed or been disabled. At 12:56 a.m. on December 3, 1984, the pressure reaches critical. A relief valve bursts, and 40 tons of methyl isocyanate, superheated, vaporized, pour into the night air. The gas is heavier than air. It sinks, rolls across the ground like fog, white, choking. It spreads toward the densely populated neighborhoods. Thousands are sleeping. There are no alarms, no sirens, no emergency broadcasts. No one from Union Carbide warns anyone. The gas just comes, silent, deadly. People wake up choking, coughing, vomiting, eyes burning. They cannot see, cannot breathe. They stumble out, trying to escape, but the gas is everywhere. It fills the streets, seeps into every building. People run, but do not know which way. Some collapse in the streets. Some die in their beds, still asleep. Children, the elderly, pregnant women, entire families. Within hours, thousands are dead. Hospitals overwhelmed, bodies piled in streets, morgues run out of space. And still, no one from Union Carbide takes responsibility. The gas spreads for hours before it dissipates. By then, the damage is done. Official immediate death toll, 2,259. But that only counts bodies recovered in the first days. The real number is much higher. Independent estimates, 3,787 immediately. Over weeks, months, years, thousands more die from lung damage, organ failure, cancers. Final death toll, 15,000 to 25,000, 500,000 injured, tens of thousands permanently disabled, blinded, lungs destroyed, lives ruined. And Union Carbide's response? Deny, minimize, delay, pay as little as possible.
Before we continue, everything you just watched is documented historical fact. The leak, the deaths, the disabled safety systems, the corporate cost-cutting. Verified by government investigations, court records, survivor testimony, scientific analysis. This happened. What comes now is analysis of how Union Carbide escaped accountability and whether the same could happen today. Union Carbide immediately denied responsibility. They claimed sabotage, that a disgruntled employee deliberately caused it. No evidence, no investigation confirmed it, but it shifted blame from their cost-cutting. They minimized the death toll. They fought every lawsuit, delayed every settlement, used their money and lawyers to drag the process for years. In 1989, 5 years later, the Indian government settled $470 million for 15,000 deaths and 500,000 injuries. Do the math. $470 million divided by 15,000 deaths equals about $31,000 per death. But the money also covered injuries. Actual payout per victim, $470 to $2,000. $470 for a human life, for a mother who died choking, for a child who will never see, for a worker whose lungs were destroyed. And the executives? Warren Anderson, CEO of Union Carbide, was charged with manslaughter, arrested when he flew to India, released on bail, fled the country, never returned. India requested extradition. The United States refused. Anderson lived the rest of his life in America, in comfort, in freedom, and died in 2014 without facing trial. Not one Union Carbide executive served a single day in jail. And the site? Union Carbide abandoned it, never cleaned it up. The soil is contaminated, groundwater poisoned. Studies show elevated levels of toxins in the water supply. 40 years later, children are still born with birth defects, people still getting sick. The poison is still there. Union Carbide, now owned by Dow Chemical, denies responsibility. They paid the settlement in 1989. Case closed. The people of Bhopal can keep dying. Dow does not care. So here's the question. If this happened today, would it be different? Would executives go to jail? Would victims receive real compensation? Would the site be cleaned? Probably not. The systems that allowed Union Carbide to escape are still in place. Corporate structures shield parent companies using subsidiaries. Union Carbide India was separate from Union Carbide Corporation in the US. Even though the American parent controlled the subsidiary and made the cost-cutting decisions, they argued they were not legally responsible. Courts agreed. This still works today. Multinationals use subsidiaries to offshore risk. If something goes wrong, the subsidiary takes the blame. The parent walks away. Jurisdiction issues remain. Union Carbide was American. Disaster in India. Which courts have authority?
Indian government tried to prosecute. Executives were in the US. US refused extradition. This is still a problem. When disasters happen in developing countries caused by corporations based in wealthy countries, victims have almost no ability to hold them accountable. And settlements are never enough. $470 million sounds like a lot. Divided among 15,000 deaths and 500,000 injuries, almost nothing. Compare BP's Deepwater Horizon killed 11 workers. BP paid over $60 billion. 11 deaths, $60 billion. Bhopal, 15,000 deaths, $470 million. The message is clear. Lives in developing countries are worth less. Corporations know it. They build dangerous facilities in poor countries where labor is cheap, regulations weak, governments can be pressured, and if something goes wrong, consequences are minimal. No, if Bhopal happens today, it would not be different. Executives would not go to jail. Victims would not receive real compensation. The site would not be cleaned. The systems that enabled Bhopal still exist. Same corporate structures, same legal loopholes, same international failures, same calculation. Cheaper to let people die and pay a settlement than invest in real safety. If you made it this far, thank you. In 1984, Union Carbide killed 15,000 people by cutting costs, paid $470 per victim, walked away. And the system that let them do that is still in place. Share this with someone who refuses to look away. Subscribe if you have not. Every episode of If History Repeats asks, what if it happened again? Next episode, March 25th, 1911, New York City, Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, young women sewing blouses. At 4:40 p.m., fire breaks out. The building has exits, but factory owners locked the doors from the outside to prevent unauthorized breaks. 146 women burned to death or jumped from the 10th floor. Not because there was no way out, but because someone decided controlling workers mattered more than their lives. The fire that changed labor laws, the doors locked from the outside, and the pattern that continues today. I am If History Repeats, and history always has something to say.